Welcome everybody to Fashion Victuals Radio right here on ripradionetwork.com. Day 57, 58. Life.
Oh Lord.
Pain, still surviving. Hopefully you are too, Brian.
Yeah, I'm good.
Good.
I'm okay. I'm still here, as they say.
Good.
I see that you've changed your locale, your background, in a sense.
It's probably going to change back to the next soon. Yeah, because I get tired of sitting at my desk sometimes, so change my location. Gotta do that sometimes.
Of course. So, I mean, sadly, I've been staying in the last few days, which is kind of not healthy. But I still, do my indoor workout.
Today is really beautiful outside.
Yeah, today. Well, I think this weekend it's beginning today, going into the weekend. It's going to be getting warmer, getting brighter, getting more comfortable, happy, springish, and most concerning too, because a lot more people want to get out and be free. And coronavirus is still out there waiting like a hungry murder hornet. So, but all in all, I mean, I think that I don't know. I just feel like take the occasional walk. Wear your mask. I'm thinking of try to purchase one of those sports masks because my walks are more aggressive and I need to breathe properly. So because breathing through it's one thing, the mask that you get at a the N95 mask or those masks that doctors should use, but when you make those homemade cloth masks, I mean it kind of like it's not bad, but
First the thing is those cloth masks are not keeping you from being safe or keeping your germs from escaping your mouth.
I understand.
Here. So that's why they say it is to be a protective mask, like the ones that they use in a hospital, maybe. People think they're walking around being cute with these cute little masks on and everything. It's not cute. It's not cute. Because let me tell you something. Your shit can still go through your mask because it's fabric. Let's be clear. You can still blow out a lighter. That was the test that I seen. Like if you can still blow out a lighter, then that means that your germs can still fly out your mask.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not protecting yourself. You have to. You're not protecting yourself. You're protecting everyone else from whatever the hell you may have. Right. That's the thing.
I mean, yeah.
Like, oh, I gotta put my mask on because I don't know, these people are nasty. No, you're nasty. That's why you need to put it on, because you're nasty.
Right. I mean, honestly, like I said, it's. I saw a similar, like, you probably saw this video of a doctor, and he kind of said the exact same thing. It's like, I mean, these masks are for a reason. They're for surgicals and all that stuff. So it prevents bodily fluids from the surgeon going into the patient that they're cutting into. So I understand all that, but again, paranoia and all that stuff. But then again, the other video I seen, or pretty much, it was I watched again Bill Maher, and I like the fact of his last week's new rules, his ending of his new rules. He was talking about people who are in this situation. It's like, look, you can get a mask all you want, but really we need to go. You got to go out there and dive into it. You can't be afraid of this and everything. And really, you gotta, let the human body handle what it needs to handle. Mind you, those who are dying are those who had probably some bad underlying issues that no one's really explained. Oh, this person died, and this person died from. It's kind of like, think about it if you remember we were probably a little young, but and I was young too. When AIDS kicked in, everybody was like dying left and right, and it was just like, oh, what they had, and the big news was AIDS. This person died from AIDS. But then again, it's just like, well, AIDS was the virus, but at the same time, it was kind of like, all right, the main issue was it was probably pneumonia. So but it was AIDS related because AIDS, or HIV was part of it. Mind you, now, there's drugs and stuff like that, or, it's not the cure, but it's to help people to prolong their lives. Mind you, Magic Johnson is still the undisputed king of beating AIDS, and looking pretty much decent because, he probably caught it in time or whatever. But anyway.
Well, here's the thing. I think that people do realize that they do need to go out in the world and just face the music. I found myself going out of my house quite often just because I want to get some fresh air or I need to make a run to the store or anything. What I normally do is when I come home right before I go to bed or anything, I make sure I take all my vitamins. I make sure I take some elderberry, something with vitamin C, so that I can build up my immune system. I never forget one Friday I came home and I was out that day like I normally do with the groceries, everything. I came home and I just felt like all my energy was just sucked out of me. I don't know what it was, but it just felt the energy was sucked out of me. I came home, I took some emergency because I had some emergency here. I promise you, no later than maybe an hour later, I felt fine. So you have to know, like, this is something that is attacking your immune system. So things that people are buying and stuff, and I think I've said this on the show plenty of times. Get something that is going to keep you healthy. Get some leafy greens. Get something that has vitamin C and D and E in it. Keep your body like drinking a lot of water. Keep vitamin C in your body. Like things that are going to build the immune system. Don't consecutively keep buying shit that's going to make you sick.
Remember, folks, you go to your grocery store, look, all the produce section is filled. Everything it's completely filled.
Now, the meat department ain't looking too good these days, but I tell you what, it's greens.
Yeah.
Kale, plenty kale, plenty spinach, it's plenty broccoli. It's plenty of those.
But the thing is, you got to keep in mind, you have, a lot of, people who have kids and parents, it's like, and their kids are probably in the young age of, I don't like broccoli. I don't like greens. I don't like peas. Shout out to my sister. I don't like, I don't like any of this vegetables. And it's kind of like, it's like, well, this is the best way to, sadly, you got to enforce that, to say, hey, this will help you. Go, you have to probably blend it up or something. So, but we'll see. So, and speaking of opening, so since that's our topic for today, since I think we kind of had a agreement because I know Maryland is deciding to open, to do a slow open phase 1 as they're interpreting it. Soft open. As for other states that, especially we know Georgia and Florida, they're like, and Texas, they're for like, hey, everything's open, come on out. But then you have LA, they're they're holding back. DC mentioned the fact that they're going to hold back for a few more weeks. New York is still closed. So really the key question,
New York should open. New York is closed for the rest of the year. Let's be clear.
True.
Ain't nobody in New York for shit. They're not going to Broadway. They're not going to Times Square. They're not going nowhere in New York. Nowhere.
Damn. I feel sorry for the Giants and the Jets did. well, actually, they're in New Jersey, but then again,
the Jets are in like upstate New York.
No, they're in New Jersey too. They play in the same state. They play in the same stadium. It's the Mets and Yankees. I think they're going to be hurting because, speaking, we'll get further about, but baseball's coming back. They made it official that they're going to decide to come back in July. So there's a lot of questions and concerns and possible procedures that will help people spark into opening the United States again. But is it really safe or not? So.
True.
Sure. So, but in fashion fictional news, This may concern you. So we're going back into the theaters because AMC is, as we mentioned last week, AMC is going to be is under a possible merger. So, after what we mentioned last week, what happened to him, and then also a doctor kind of exposed the airlines on their failure of their policy that they put out there about a month ago. And of course, and two vegan restaurants got some rave reviews, so that we'll mention on Fast Fictional News.
All right. Everybody, we want to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to jump right into Fashion Victual News right here on Fashion Victuals Radio. Welcome back to Fashion Victuals Radio right here on RipRadioNetwork.com. All right, let's jump right into Fashion Victual News. Brian, what you got for us today?
Okay, so you're going to like this. A couple of days ago, this doctor here, Dr. Ethan Weiss, he's one of those notable doctors that is helping the coronavirus. He's from San Francisco, but he was in New York. So as he was heading,
Nothing, go ahead.
Okay, so as he was heading home back to San Fran, he got onto his United flight and he was introduced a terrifying surprise.
Oh my
God. What he saw was a cabin full of passengers. And not only were, as you can see here, he took a picture of it. And as you can see here, even the middle seats were filled up. So,
hell no.
So yes, it was a completely full flight. So, and the mainly thing is that his picture gotten major headlines and a whole bunch of outrage. And with that being said, United made a statement that next week that they will be notifying passengers that if certain flights are going to be at full capacity. So they'll pretty much have to be known to the fact of, here we go. So they said that it's like, okay, if flight is going to be at up to 70% full, leading up to being full capacity, that's when they'll notify passengers if they decide to want to either get credit for it or B, change flights. So
that's dangerous territory. That's dangerous. You want to know why that's dangerous? Because yet they look crazy out here. That means that a lot of people won't even go United because they'll be the airline to put everybody on the same flight at one time. Who the hell does that? And then these people were willing to be on the plane that close to somebody. That right there is a problem for me in itself. I mean, my thing is they have enough technology out here where they can limit the amount of tickets sold for a flight. They don't have to make the announcement. Let's be clear. Just cut the damn flight off. This flight is full. You can put 10 people on that motherfucker and the flight is full. Period.
But here's the sad part.
That's scary.
Well, besides that, they said United's going to do this, notification, next week. That's what was the funny part. It was like, we're going to do this new policy next week, not tomorrow, not on the weekend, next week. So it's like, wait, after you get exposed, and the fact is like,
is why I'm not flying no time this year. That right there.
So it to me, it's just again, this is all about money, and honestly, he's like, you want to get as many people in, and it's like, no, we want to get people home. We're trying to do everything safe, but no, it's like you don't get it. There's some paranoid people up in there, and I bet you, and you had a doctor in there who took a picture of and exposed that. So I mean, I don't know.
Mind you, was on that flight. You never know who's on that flight. That's the thing. You never know. But I'm glad he put the information out there. I ain't flying. My booth ain't watching. I'm not flying no time this year. None whatsoever. I'm not flying. Period. See that?
Uh,
I'm not flying. No,
oh,
you'll
trouble
witness.
in paradise. Trouble in paradise. Speaking of trouble, or maybe this isn't trouble. Now we mentioned this last week that AMC and Universal, AMC had an
Mhm.
issue with Universal Studios for pulling their movies out of theaters and having it available on video on demand. And during this current pandemic situation, which led to AMC banning Universal from ever putting out their movies on their theaters again. So, well, this seemed kind of like a good distraction for what may be going on because Amazon is interested in purchasing AMC theaters. So, I can see you dancing right now, but hold on. So, this kind of sparked a lot of trading experts uh, because during on Monday, they noticed the fact that AMC stock rose up 26% on Monday. So
Sure
they
did.
were like, okay, this is kind of interesting. So now what this will happen is that Amazon, as everyone knows, they make movies and television shows. And they had lucked out at this past year's Oscar where one of their movies ended up getting an Oscar, not just a nomination, but actually a win. So having Amazon Studios having some of their films going to AMC seems like, hey, this is a great idea. But here's the thing. You're not supposed to do
Like what?
that. Yes, Amazon trying to purchase AMC because this will be a nice smooth transition to, hey, we have a movie we can instantly put in our theaters. You're not supposed to do that because, as you're seeing here, because of the 1948 Paramount Decree. Now, what that means is studios cannot buy movie theaters because based on the fact that if they make a movie and instantly put in their theaters and try to prevent other studios from putting movies into that particular theater, pretty much you're monopolizing everything. So by now, if this goes through, you're pretty much opening a huge floodgate that was pretty much closed a long time ago. So I see you now. You're kind of thinking like, what are you thinking? So, but yes, do you have any concerns?
Yes, my stock money. Shit. That's my concern.
Mm.
Let's be clear. So here's the thing. I think it would be a phenomenal merger because it seems that every time Amazon touches something, it turns to gold. No, I mean, like, let's be clear. Whole Foods, their stock rose when Amazon purchased it. I think they just recently purchased Harris Teeter, if I'm not mistaken. Did they? I think they did purchase Harris Teeter. I think that was recent. But they also purchased something else. Come on, Brian, help me out here.
They're purchasing everything, but like I said, this is where we can kind of differ.
Yes.
I have a problem of monopolies. I have a problem of Disney being where they are. I'm having a problem with Amazon growing bigger and bigger. We're seeing things where it's like, this product is brought to you by this product, and I feel like no, we're losing the simple fact of small businesses or businesses themselves who can thrive on their own, really should be able to thrive on their own. And you're trying to claiming the fact that it's like you need this bigger company to save the smaller one to keep it in existence, where it feels like it can still exist on its own. The problem is like, I think now is for AMC and Regal, it's like any movie theater company. This is just a bad time. This is just really a bad time because everything's closed. But
now, Amazon is everybody's best friend.
I understand that. Amazon Prime. That's what it feels like. Why do you need a movie theater when you can have when everybody can stay home and watch your shit? I don't understand that.
Okay, so here's my thing. AMC was about to go completely bankrupt.
Right.
So my thing is, Amazon stepped in to play Captain Save-A-Ho. They're like, all right, don't go bankrupt. We'll purchase you instead. So that way you won't go bankrupt. You can have your name, but we own you.
But again, you're not. But like I said before, with the decree out there, it's still up there. Then you're sort of, like I said, you're opening floodgate. It's like, wait, Amazon has a studio. Amazon makes movies. So why can't MGM? Why can't Universal? Why can't Warner Brothers? Why can't Fox? Why can't all these other entities? And it's like, well, if you allow Amazon, why can't we buy a movie theater? And again, this is where you're going to cause a headache.
But and how many movie companies are out there? You got IMAX, you got the Regal, you got AMC, and then there's one more that are like a big movie company. Then you got
Landmark,
and little small ones here and there.
Right. But what you're doing is, but then again, it's like when you do that, it's like, okay, trust me, this is what's going to sadly happen. I believe this will happen. You're going to pretty much, if Amazon buys AMC, majority of the movies that they're going played at AMC will be a lot of Amazon movies, and in a sense where it's like, okay, that's where it will be fully played. So you're blocking out everybody else.
I don't think why they want it like that. I really don't. I think that Amazon is going to come.
I see that coming.
With other studios, because even though Amazon makes their own movies, they're going to make a deal with other studios to have their movies played in AMC theaters.
I think, but you can say that now. You can say that now. They'll play nice now. They will play nice now.
They don't, right? Because that limited. Okay, so I said they will be stupid if they don't, because that limits the amount of movies that go into AMC theaters. They'll be absolutely stupid if they don't strike a deal with the rest of the studios. They'll be stupid.
True, but like I said, you can play nice now, but wait until down the line. And it feels
Amazon ever played nice.
They haven't. That's what I'm saying, and that's why it feels like this is a bad deal. This will explode, and it will. And trust me, this will pretty much, and especially if you're going to still have a Republican-esque Supreme Court, and they're all about making money and all that stuff. And if they slash this decree out, trust me, you're going to cause a hell of a headache down the line. And I feel like, look, that's why I feel like monopolizing is really ruining, businesses all left and right. And I, like I said, AMC is just right now is in a bad hole because of the way the world is right now. But my thing is like, look, I just say don't do it right now. I wouldn't do it at all. I wouldn't do it at all. But hey, I'm not a businessman. I wouldn't know shit. So, but I will get that stock though. Anyway, next up is we're going to be talking about some vegan restaurants that have been doing pretty well during this pandemic. One of them is this Dutch restaurant here. It's called the Medimatic Biotop Eatery. It's a Dutch restaurant that has taken social distancing dining to a new level. This vegan spot, for a trial basis, has these greenhouse outdoor tables, as you can see here, and it will will cater to at least 2 to 3 guests at a time, and it will have the waiters providing food to their guests through a screen door, and using, as you can see here, the waiters have protective gear on. They use, as you can see, also a wooden board sliding into to feed the guests and everything else. So, surprisingly enough, this experiment has been getting rave reviews and has done very well. And they're going to be taking up reservations beginning May 21st. Surprisingly enough, before all this, they pretty much been booked throughout the entire time.
Not surprised.
And so going into June, so pretty much their opening will be in June. So for right now, that's one successful vegan restaurant. Another vegan restaurant that's done very well, surprisingly, is first off, Nick Cannon. He got into a business venture because he went to North Carolina, got some decent soul food, but it's vegan soul food by this by the Velveteen Chef, and he decided to, hey, he wanted to have some soul food back at home, so he did, and he brought this new soul food vegan restaurant called the V Tree, and it's in the Hollywood Hills area. Like I said, he met up with the Velveteen Chef back in North Carolina, and they pretty much had to build up the partnership and things like that. So with that in mind, things look pretty happen. But unfortunately, the one thing that happened also was the pandemic. So it's because they were supposed to open, they had a big opening on April 30th, and pretty much they couldn't do much. So what they smartly decided to is do takeout orders, and pretty much sold. Yeah, everything sold out. So you can get yourself a vegan version of ribs, chicken and waffles, mac and cheese, greens. Of course, greens are left and right everywhere. It's a bit for, let's say, for someone who's trying to balance their budget, so to speak. Some of those things are a bit pricey, but it looks kind of tempting. So, like I said, the V Tree in Hollywood's Hill area sold out. Pretty much all their stuff was sold out in that first week, and I could commend Nick Cannon. It's like, hey, he's a businessman. As long as it doesn't rap anymore, I'm great. He could do all the outside business. Yeah. So, and I think this will be a good business venture for him, especially in the LA area where they're looking for, and especially for the Soul Brothers. They want some soul food, and it's being a vegan, it's kind of difficult. So, and they have this alternative.
So here's the thing: being vegan isn't as difficult as people make it seem. As you know, earlier this year, I went completely vegan for Lent. Last year, I went vegetarian. Being vegan, I was a little afraid of what to do as far as going vegan, but honestly, it was easier than I anticipated. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of vegan restaurants who can really do a great job with imitating certain dishes. I've been to New Vegan, which is a popular spot in this area that actually specializes in vegan soul food. So I've had like their chicken tenders. I've had their mac and cheese. Mm-hmm. I've had different dishes from there. Well, at least I tried it because my sister turned me on to them. So they are in the Washington, D.C. area they're really, really good. So it's like, to me, a lot more people are starting to go towards a healthier lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Even though they don't want to be vegan, they do at least try the vegan food. Mm-hmm. And I noticed with myself, I'm slowly using vegan substitutions for like my meat products. Like I've been buying like vegan burgers, like
yeah, you said the Beyond Burgers and things like that. Yeah,
the Beyond Meat product, phenomenal in the stock market right now. Just saying. But their burgers are really good. So I've been purchasing that. I'm about to try their like a vegan sausage, and it's just substitutions because right now the meat industry is at a standstill a little bit because of certain people catching COVID-19 in the factories. Right. So I think Nick Cannon got something going on right now. I think it's a good look, especially the food looks great from the picture that you showed me. Now the other restaurant I'm a little excited about because I think that they just kind of turned a bad situation into a good one. Right. To get a different type of restaurant experience. I'm all about having a whole entire restaurant experience when I go out to eat. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's very, very creative, and it gives people that intimacy instead of like sometimes when you go to restaurants, even though you may spend a certain amount of money when you go to a restaurant, you don't have that intimacy because you're out in the public. With this, you got the intimacy, so you don't have to hear other conversations going on in the restaurant, which is good. And plus, it had a very nice view. It was right off the water. It had around the little like canopy, the glass canopy that they had set up. And I noticed that one of the canopies had a window open at the top. So you can kind of put air in there if you want to, just to kind of hear the water, maybe get a breeze. There. I think that they have a really, really good concept going on. And honestly, this may be the way to go with a lot of restaurants. They just have to kind of think outside the box. There is a restaurant in DC, and it's actually well known all over, McCormick and Schmidt's. So the one in Washington D.C. on K Street, they actually have like private booths. So my sister and I booked reservations there, not last Mother's Day, but the Mother's Day before. We took some of the women in my family down to that McCormick and Schmidt's for Mother's Day. But they have like this booth, and like it's like this small little room. I'm not kidding you not. It's a small little room that you go in, and it's a long booth with chairs, and then you have a curtain that closes everybody out completely. And it still gives me that intimate feeling that it's just us in that room. And then the servers come in, they open the curtain, check on you, make sure you're okay. It's still a small enough space where everybody is very cozy in there, but it's enough space where the server can come in and bring your food and things like that. Again, it was a great concept. It kind of gives you that social distancing effect. So, and honestly, I've never seen any other restaurants in this area like that, even though it's McCormick and Schmidt's, but I've never seen other restaurants do that. So I think that with this time, this is something that a lot of restaurants might need to take heed. It may cost them a little money to kind of rearrange how the layout is in their restaurant at this time. But thank goodness the weather is getting warmer, so they can start setting up things temporarily in their outdoor spaces.
I think I kind of agree. I think it's a good concept. I always play devil's advocate because of the fact that, and especially if you're trying to have that concept here, it's spacing. And the thing is like a lot of restaurants are mostly for the indoor experience, let alone the outside. And around in this, Washington D.C. area, you don't have that many restaurants that can cater to an outside viewing. I've done, I've been down to Arlington. Of course, if you go down that road strip in downtown Arlington, they have for some pretty good outdoor restaurants. You can have that outdoor dining experience, but it's due to the limited spacing, you're going to be unable to financially have a lot of people be eating out there if you try to do what Media Mantic did, because of the fact that the way it's as big as these are, you're pretty much, as I've seen, it's like maybe no more than maybe 4 or 5 you can fit in there, and especially in your area of space of where your restaurant is, or maybe probably less than that. In addition to, you still want to try to bring in people to your spot, and I don't know how to fix that. That's the real big problem, because really it's the indoor dining experience you want to have, and you're trying to, how are you going to block this off with plastic and all that stuff, and you're trying to get that quote unquote intimate feel and all that stuff. That's where I think the headache will be. I mean, like I said, this is good. Yeah, it's for something like, if you have a lot of space and you have a nice view and all that stuff, that's great. But if you have limited spacing, outdoor spacing, in addition to your indoor space, I mean, you're kind of shit out of luck, and it's got to stick to the delivery and takeouts.
Well, you got to understand, even with I know that in DC, there is very limited outdoor spacing for a lot of restaurants. And even so, some of them do have like rooftops. But what I'm saying is, like, maybe they need to rebrand the concept of how their indoor dining space is being utilized. Because you can still do indoors. Let's be clear, you can. But you have to give people that satisfaction that they're feeling secure, that they're feeling safe, that they feel like they're not around other people that can spread their germs, what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's why I said, like, McCormick and Schmidt, they have like that indoor space where they had that cutoff booth, you know what I'm saying, where the only people who were in that booth were the people you came with, and I think that a lot of people like that privacy, even people who are very like introverts, because introverts don't like to mingle or be socially inclined to talk to other people. They don't. So, I mean, this is something that restaurants may need to consider right now in order to start slowly getting their business back on track. Now, this is what I wanted it. I want to find out how these hookah spots are going to survive. That's what I wanted it.
I think they're done.
Man, this is crazy. This is crazy. because I'm saying like that, like hookah spots were definitely the social atmosphere for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, damn, because you had the bar, you had the hookah, you had the food. Like some spots did have good food,
Mm-hmm.
you know. You had the music, you had the conversations going for extroverts and stuff. But now it's like, how would hookah spots survive in a pandemic?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, but
Yeah,
you know.
but that's factual news, though.
All right. Thank you. And when we come back, we're going to get into the main topic of the evening, and that is the world ready to open up? Period. Are we ready to go open? Are we ready to reopen our businesses? Are we ready to reopen our homes to our friends and family? Let's find out right after this break. Fashion Victuals Radio.
We're
Sorry.
back. I
Welcome back,
see.
everybody, to Fashion Victuals Radio right here on RipRadioNetwork.com. All right. So let's get into the main topic of tonight. We want to know if the world is ready to open up again. As you know, some states already have opened up. Soft openings, I guess you could say. I know
Some
Florida
soft, some hard.
has opened up. Georgia has opened up. I think Alabama's opened up. There's a couple other states who have already opened up. I think California opened up as well. But what people fail to realize is that even though we're doing soft openings all across the United States, are we all, let's be clear, are all these states ready to open? I
No.
don't think so. Not one bit. I know one thing. New York is closed till 2022. We're going to have to do a full recovery on COVID-19 for me to go anywhere near New York City. Just saying. That place is super scary right now. I do pray for all those who live in New York, even my family who's there. I pray that everybody's doing okay, everybody's staying safe. The numbers that we're seeing are very just outlandish on our end. And then the fact that they don't have nowhere to bury the bodies. They literally had to take bodies to an island to bury them, which is super scary. Super scary. I pray that they do know the loved ones who are sick or who have passed away, because to me it's just too many bodies for them to even count anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think that the whole country is ready to open back up. I think honestly it could be a numbers game. It could be a money game too. I think that some parts of it could be just the media scaring everybody, because the media is full of shit anyway. We'll never have any real answers on what's really going on in the world unless we do step out of our house to see for ourselves. So I do think that people do need to at least go out the house. Don't be scared to go out the house. Just make sure you protect yourself. Keep your hand sanitizer on you at all times. Keep your medical mask on you at all times. But at least get out the house. Like, I mean, y'all know how to stay away from nasty people. Then again, some of y'all may not. I don't know.
Sure.
So, but I don't think. So we're in the state of Maryland. Do I feel like Maryland's ready to open up? Hell no. No. We ain't ready to open up. What you think, Brian?
As I sip my tea, I think let's say this. I think with Governor Hogan, I commend him for what he's been doing for these 2 months. Mind you, he's a Republican governor in a state that's mostly Democratic, and he's going up against the president, who's a buffoon. And pretty much he's like, look, we're not listening to what that jerk says or is trying to say, or doesn't know what he's saying and all stuff, even though he's, about, good 25 miles up the road. With that being said, I think since Maryland is going to be, again, going through phase one, it's a nice start, because you kind of want to get the businesses up. But I feels like honestly, I like you said before, it's about money, and this is about money. It's always been about money. I just really think it's like you because you want to get, mind you, the list of shows, stop it, stuff that they want to open, and I go to this new site or Facebook or Instagram called Moco Show, and they pretty much gave they keep updated on things in the Montgomery County, Maryland area. And surprisingly, if no one knows this, Montgomery County they're holding back. They're not starting up anything, but they pretty much put out what Governor Hogan stated, that Maryland will be lifting its stay-at-home order and moving instead to a safer home public health advisory. So this is like the new color. It's kind of like that new
there.
Yeah, but the thing is, you remember when after 9/11 we had that green, red, yellow thing? That's what's going to probably be up. So beginning this Friday at 5 p.m., everyone will have it's a safer at home public health advisory. So pretty much is like you said, be it, it's okay, but not okay. So just be advised. So he said also retail stores in Maryland will reopen up to 50% capacity. So pretty much what I've been seeing at grocery stores, they have a counter. So it's like, all right, at this point, this is where you just wait until we move up. Yeah. So, and then as for personal service, now this is where I feel like this needs to be checked on. Barbershops and hair salons may reopen, and again at 50% capacity and at appointments only. And as of right now, like I said, Montgomery County and Prince George's County here in Maryland, they're not fully into this phase one bit. My thing is,
George's County should not open shit.
Right. So Prince George's County in Maryland, between Montgomery County and Prince George's County here in Maryland, those are the two counties that have suffered the most COVID instances at this particular time. Because, mind you, we're near the DC area, and just this past couple of days, the White House gets infected, except for surprisingly, Donald Trump hasn't gotten it yet. But I think it's
he probably already had it and got rid of it.
Yeah, or something, or probably he's hiding. Here's my viewpoint: you could do a horror movie for the White House. This is like COVID, and it's coming after, and the last person it will get, it was probably Donald Trump. And it's like
Pence said not about that life though.
Yeah,
like Pence is like, no sir.
Yeah, so I mean, you and the thing is like, again, you got people, and the main reason I believe a lot of people in Montgomery County and Prince George's County, Maryland, is getting affected because they're going back and forth in DC. A lot of these people are government people. So they travel to New York, they travel to California, they travel outside the US. So, and they come back and everyone's coming home and blah, blah, blah. So I can understand why those, I mean, the DC area is a political town. And I can understand why Marion Bowser decided that June 8th will be an appropriate time frame for DC to open up, because she feels like we ain't ready. We're not fully ready. So
they got way less people than us.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So it's like, they could have did it, but they felt like, no, we want to take proper precautions, which I think is smart. And like I said before, LA, they decided to like hold off until June. But then there's the threat that the possibility that they probably won't open until August. So
that's what I've been hearing. A lot of places, companies won't open back up till August. Right. But here's the thing, Brian. Is it really that they travel back and forth to DC? Because, I mean, if DC is entirely closed, what are they going to DC for? A lot of government agencies are working from home at this time.
Yeah, at this time. Right.
So my thing is, the only ones that are being affected by this is us. Let's be clear. Us. I know I'm a little yellow, but you know what I mean. Because we can't stay away from each other. For some odd reason, stupidity is amongst our peoples right now. And all these young little bastards out here that I keep hearing on motorcycles and these fast-ass little cars are the ones that keep going back and forth around people and bringing it home to their parents, their sisters, their brothers, their cousins, whoever they have, in other people's houses. That's what's happening. These little fuckers were down at like a month ago, like 100 of them on those little dirt bike thingies and four wheelers. Like there was like a DC takeover. I'm like, what the hell? And then they bring the shit home. That's the thing. You're bringing it home. So now you bringing all the bullshit home that you've been around.
Other COVID and crabs. That's what they brought up. COVID and crabs.
COVID and crabs. Let's not forget how the wolf was looking a month ago too. Really, y'all need seafood that bad? Come on now.
And then we'll add on to Chicago with the long, or Georgia, or whatever, the long line getting Air Jordans. You know, that made no sense. Chicago with the house parties. And then most recently in Texas, which kind of had a tragic situation where there was it was weird. It was like there was a huge gathering of people at a park, and it was majority Black folks. And then a couple of gunshots were fired and scattered. People were out, like, sad to say, like roaches when the light turns on, and spreading, make people all spread around. Because honestly, I believe that, it was probably someone who felt like, look, they need to break this shit up, and it was probably not a policeman. And so because they don't, because of the fear of their life. So my viewpoint is this: it's like I say, business wise, for Black folks, it's the thing is like, look, like you said, Black folks, for some odd reason, they want to get social. They want to be with their friends. The guy needs to get with his side chick. You need to get with the side chick?
My family. Side dude? No, ain't no side chick or side dude. What the fuck? No. I love my family. I love my friends. And trust me, it's nothing else that I want more than to be around my friends and family. But at the same time, I feel like I'm protecting them from me. Because I may have it and don't even know it, or they may have it and don't even know it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but I do let them know, like, I do miss them. Just tell them you miss, homie. I miss you. I miss you, homie. But no, we have to have house parties and be like, man, I'm tired of being in the house by myself.
Well, the other thing is, it's like, I mean, besides being here, but at least some bigger businesses are trying to realize the fact of like airlines. They're, even though the story we just mentioned, they do some stupid shit, but honestly, they are trying to get into the process of like, look, this is all new to us. Everything, just like COVID, the information we get about COVID keeps changing. We keep changing with it. So from eliminating the middle seats to giving everybody need to wear masks, before they get on the plane, eliminating cart service, or limitation of it. Now they're testing over, I think, in some Far Eastern airlines, they've started testing passengers, taking their temperatures, seeing if they're able to board the plane as long as they're okay. The new addition, mind you, like you go to TSA, you go through those scanners to see if you have anything metal on you. Now they're going to take your temperature with it, now. So it's like almost, if you remember, folks, Total Recall, that whole, you get to see your bone structure and all this stuff you're walking by. So, but the thing is like, I understand it's a progression, and it's an odd progression, but let's say for folks who feel like they don't need this, they feel like their civil liberties are being taken advantage of or whatever, they're the ones who complain. Those the people you saw in Michigan, the people you saw in Oklahoma, the people you saw in the South and all this stuff, going to the state house and with their guns and freaking out and say, open up my store, I need to get a haircut and all that bullshit. It's like those things it's like, wait, you wanted people to give you a haircut? That's what you were saying. You better you can't cook yourself today. Yes. So it's like, look, you can't handle having some long hair. You can't handle having your edges all, messed up for a hot second. You can't deal with the fact that your bleach hair is now becoming back to its natural roots. Is that your problem? That's why I feel. I mean, Ted Cruz, pretty much allowed to have, because the a hair salon in the state got the owner of that pretty much got arrested for it and got reprimanded, but was about to go to jail. And Ted Cruz goes out there, is like, I think it's, we got to help support this business after the state said no. So you that's where it feels like, okay, again, you're pushing about money. You're pushing about, I understand these are businesses that need to open. I understand that this is supposed to help the local economy in general, all that stuff. But at the same time, it's just like, have you checked over across the pond? No one else is bitching, complaining about that. Mind you, they have the different rules and things like that. But it's kind of like, look, they were able to adjust. Somehow we can't. Somehow we feels like I'm an American. We needed the way it was. I understand that, but it's just like, it takes this whole process. Mm-hmm.
All other countries and continents have moved on, have opened business slowly, processed it, got through it, and everything.
Right.
We still failing.
because of leadership. Because of leadership.
Theirs lasted no more than, let's be clear, when we found out about China, it was probably last I want to say December when we found out about China. And they started opening their businesses by March. Am I not mistaken?
Yeah, so 3 months, about there.
We started going through this in February. It's May.
Well, technically it's 3 months, but that's basically. But
here's the China's numbers started going down before they started opening.
Because
our numbers are going up.
Here's the reason why. China, like I said, it's due to leadership. China's leadership
is bigger than us.
Huh?
Isn't China bigger than the United States?
I understand that, but here's the thing.
I'm just saying, what numbers than they that?
Again, with China, South Korea, or both Koreas, North and South, and pretty much most of the Far East, their leadership is pretty much is like, look, here, they can handle a certain pandemical situation. They can handle certain chaotic situations. And they feels like, look, we got to shut this down. They'll do anything and everything to shut it down, and the people will follow it. Plain and simple. For us, we're so wildly independent. We're so wildly, and I'm using the word wildly a lot for this. Is the fact, because of the fact is like we have, our leadership is wildly erratic. We have the citizens themselves, majority of them, especially who follow the wild, erratic president, they get erratic and wild as well because of the fact that it's like they feel like our lives are in shambles and we're going to fight literally to get it back into order. And it's like, no, you're fighting pretty much is a cold, as Trump would say. But the thing is, it's more than that. And you're not understanding the simple facts of, hey, you're dealing with people, again, underlining issues and things of that nature. With that being said, when you don't have a leader to say, hey, with a calmly manner and a calmly rhetoric to say, hey, we need to get this country back in order. We got to get those numbers. We have to stay at home. I understand businesses will suffer, but certain businesses will stay home. Mind you, the food industry is remaining open, which is good because people are hungry. So you keep those businesses up. Small businesses, I think the ones that are really hurting the most are those of the small businesses. And the majority of the small businesses are hair salons and barbershops and all that stuff. But here's the thing, folks, as you can see, I'm balding. I haven't been to a barbershop in about, almost over 10, 15 years. Reason being is like their costs have increased. So I took the liberty, since I was going to lose my hair anyway, I got myself some clippers on my own and cut my own hair. I saved at least good $20, $25 whatever amount of time, instead of going to a barbershop that you'll be paying like maybe $40 a week to get a trim up or get your fade right or whatever reason you got to get your hair done and all that stuff. For some odd reason, you got to spend that money. And in addition, for ladies who, like you, I can see you got your cornrows set up and everything.
Hey, I was doing my own hair before then, Brian. I ain't been
right. That's what I'm saying. So yes, for ladies like yourself who are able to do their own hair, just tie it up, or do one simple look to where it can hold out for a good month and a half or whatever until they feel like the next time you're able to do your own hair. All right, cool. Keep it that. No, everyone does not have the survival instincts anymore. Everyone keeps relying on other people to survive. And especially in a sense where hair, your look, the way you look.
Hey now. Hold on now.
But what I'm saying is that's where surprisingly the focus has been. Yeah. It's not about certain again increasing the essential businesses opening up, whichever they are. But the thing is like I understand certain businesses are holding back. Now, one of the businesses I think is coming back, but it won't be until the middle of the summer. Is like I said earlier in the show was baseball. Major League Baseball, they decided to come back in July. They're going to have their spring training or the return of spring training in June, or you can say summer training, and then going into July. My viewpoint on that, as we mentioned then, is if certain places are not ready to open even by that time, then what happens? Because as of right now, you have DC. They're not ready until June 8th. But by July, we're saying by July. So if DC is still in this situation where things haven't calmed down, they won't open. New York, like you said, they ain't open till probably 3 years from now. LA, if they have their issues, those are right there. You have 5 teams that may not play in their home places. 5, and especially in big markets. So it's like, okay, they have to play somewhere else and help out other markets. And the thing is, are they going to be ready for that?
Red Sox.
You're right. So the thing is like you have to understand of how to adapt and compensate. Huh?
That's not the Red Sox. Chicago's
the Cubs and White Sox.
Thank you.
Boston has the Red Sox.
Yes, I knew they were.
So, but yeah, even Chicago. So which their numbers are kind of been okay, but it goes up and down depending on how you see it. But like I said, and Florida, with their 2 teams, but yeah. So again, if things are the way they are now, and you go into the summer, if that happens, then really it proves the fact that like, what we have done during this whole thing hasn't worked. And again, due to the fact of poor leadership. It's just poor leadership on a national level.
Degree, is it poor leadership, or is it the fact that people just don't want to sit the hell down?
It's both. I'd say both. I will agree with both because of the fact it's like the poor leadership. You got a guy who gives you conflicting information back and forth. In addition to the people who know what the fuck they're talking about, you pretty much slapping them in the face every time, preventing them to really provide the proper information out there. In addition to the media, again, this whole scare tactic thing. Again, the whole 24/7 news media on a situation that really no one really knows what the hell it's all about. That's confusing. And then you, on top of that, end it with again the people not want to sit down. They can't handle. I understand cabin fever, but the thing is, it's like you can't relax for a hot minute. You can't. I understand you want to get back to work and all that stuff, but the thing is like this country has always been ill prepared on big situations. They always react, and the thing is that the way they're reacting isn't beneficial to help this country get back to normality.
I'm not knocking it.
So
I actually totally agree.
Right.
But that's what at the end of the day, we're stuck in the situations that we're stuck in. And all I could tell people is to stay the hell home.
Yeah.
Stay home.
So.
I mean, like I said, even though I said go out, get some air, whatever have you. And I agree. You do need to go out. But in other circumstances, if you don't have to be out, just stay home.
Yeah.
Just stay home.
So, but I felt like I was preparing for myself for the editorial shade because I got some shade.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break and we come back. We're going to get into the editorial shade right here on Fashion Victuals Radio.
My bitch everywhere. We be getting money everywhere. Yeah, they don't even know. They be throwing shade everywhere.
Welcome back, everybody, to Fashion Victuals Radio right here on RipRadioNetwork.com. All right, Brian, let's get into the editorial shade. I had a rant last week, so let's see how you rant this week.
You had a couple good rants last couple of weeks, so I'll give you credit for that. But this one I feel needs to be said because, mind you, this is Fashion Victuals. This is mainly about fashion, but the fashion industry and or industry itself. So I'll start off with this. If anyone remembers, America's Next Top Model, and these for some odd reason these two clips have resurfaced and pretty much put Tyra Banks in a bad light. So let me get myself set up here and let me show you what I'm talking about. So the first one, of course, is everyone's favorite time when Tyra went on her rant, and here we go.
Remember that one?
I can't read that. You read 10 times better than half of those girls over there.
You did.
And you come in here with a defeatist attitude. I don't have a bad attitude.
Memes.
I've been through stuff, so I'm angry. Yes, but it's not. This is not. Be quiet, but everybody. Be quiet. That's what is wrong with you. But you're not. Stop it! I have never in my life yelled at a girl like this. When my mother yells at this, it's because she loves me. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you?
That's right. Learn from. So with that in mind, and mind you, if you remember, Tyra ends up saying, "It's like, learn from this. The only person you're going to be responsible for this situation is yourself." Right. So now, then you get into what recently popped up. This is with, I believe, another top model. When she first came in, is about everyone says it was a clowning, but here we go. Let's set that up.
Dennis, but you refuse to have your gap closed. Do you really think you can have a CoverGirl contract with a gap in your mouth?
Yeah, why not?
This is all people see. Easy reads beautiful CoverGirl. It's not marketable.
Yeah, just a little bit is okay, but I don't want to completely close it.
Well, I guess she just left the gap wide open for another girl, baby.
I agree.
All right. So with that, okay, so those two things, now I can see your expressions. Now, with those two things in mind, like I said, Black Twitter got on its high horse and started dogging Tyra, saying it's like that was mean, that was wrong, and all that stuff. You should have never said that.
Black Twitter is so fucking bored right now. Let's be
right.
clear.
So yes, they're bored,
but they are bored.
Yes. So with that in mind, I figure it's like, look, I'm defending my queen, Tyra Banks, as you break something there, because of the fact that, look, this industry is cutthroat, plain and simple. The fashion industry, mind you, I'm not fully in it, but I understand it. They are looking for they're looking for perfection out of an imperfected person. That's the thing. And I understand the fact is like, look, they want you, you're a model, you're a canvas. You are we will mold you the way we want you to be molded. If you're not willing to do this, then this is not for you. And and you have to understand that. And the things that Tyra was saying is throughout the entire time America's Top Model was on was like she said to Tiffany, was the fact that, like, look, when she's upset and she's yelling, which she rarely ever does, is the fact that, hey, she cares about you. She wants you to be better than what you are. You can be better than this and things like that. I understand that. And she's been in the game for so long, and she probably heard those exact same things when she was getting into the industry. And not only from her, probably, yes, think about it. I mean, they told her, mind you, they told her to lose, you got to maintain a weight and all that stuff and things of that nature. She understood that. Mind you, she didn't like it. It wasn't health beneficial for her, especially early in career, and mentally it wasn't helpful for her as well. And she admitted to that. But then again, look where she is now. She's a supermodel. She's one of the top tier supermodels. She's one of the original angels in Victoria's Secret. She's done a lot more for this industry, and that's why she's like, look, this is what I'm telling you. This is what you're going to expect. And at the same time, it's like, look, not everybody is going to hold your hand, is going to tell you it's like, oh, that's okay. Everyone's going to tell you that, you know, this will be all right all the time. You're never going to get all those people. Tyra, at that tirade was, it shows her the fact that she's able to do that in a sense, but at the same time, it's like, look, you know, she's always nice all the time. You know, majority of the time you see her.
How old was that clip? The last clip.
That was the last one. Was good 10 years ago. Or, yeah, because Ziggy was on there. So, but my main complaint is like, look, I'm in an industry, the television, video, music industry. That's cutthroat as well. And I've dealt with directors that will yell at you, scream at you, holler at you throughout the production, and then in the end, you know, as long as there's no, you know, major fuck up, you're pretty much just like, hey, they'll in the end say good show. So, but the thing is like all the yelling and screaming and hooping and hollering and tirading and all that stuff, it's just to make sure that everyone's on point. It seems like it's a militaristic type of setting that you're probably unfamiliar with, and everyone has this sugar-coated, soft feeling. I'm sounding like Trump, you know, the owner of the network right now, you know, by this tirade, because he feels like, yeah, I really feel like the people who are complaining are pretty much the millennials or the Generation Zs who are pretty much sleeping on the fact is like, look, this is a hard industry. These people don't give a shit about what you're feeling today. If you feel sick, why did you show up? That will be their answer. You feel like you can't walk today, then you should never came into the building. That's what they feel, because their main objective is to pretty much, look, we got a product, we needed to get it out there. If you are a person, then yes, we will hire you. Bring it. Give it to me right here, right now. If not, then there's the door. Well,
here's the thing. I disagree with how Tyra handled that situation, because as you can see, I have braces because I did have a gap at one point. Two, there are two top models in the industry right now who are African-American descendant and have a huge gap as they're walking down the runway. One of them, she's very slender, about my complexion, has freckles. She keeps her hair cut very well. And then there's another one who is actually in the Marc Jacobs Daisy commercial to this day that plays, and it irritates my soul because all they keep doing is repeating the word Daisy all over again. There's another one who is one of the top models in the industry, and she has a big gap as well. So my thing is, sometimes you may miss your mark. And that's okay. So I disagree with Tyra the way she felt about it, because she could have missed the mark. And instead of criticizing the gap, she could have honed in and made that one of her uniqueness, one of the things that are unique about that. You know what I'm saying? Now, what I do not agree with is how Black Twitter is so bored right now that they're just digging up information just to put something out there. Because guess what? Everybody's under quarantine and they don't have nothing to really say. So that's the only thing I have with that whole thing. But I mean, Tyra, I disagree with her with the second one. The first one, that whole thing turned into a meme and everything. I thought
right. But, before memes even became a meme, that was a meme. It's on its own. But mind you, you can put in Lauren Hutton. She had a little gap in her teeth earlier in her career, but then as time progressed, she got it closer. So I understand what you're saying about, but the thing is like I understand this industry. It does play a part on people's physicality, how they feel mentally, in addition to the physicality of how they feel about their bodies and things like that. And are they able to be like this? In a sense, you're kind of like, I understand where she didn't want to lose herself, and I feel like that's understandable. You really don't want to lose fully yourself. And that's where I felt like Tyra, you know, I'll give you credit for her saying about the gap teeth. It's just like, you don't want to lose who you are fully. But then again, if you want to understand the fact like these are vets in the game, if you want to get bigger in the game, they're trying to tell you something. But I
I think that there was another way of doing it instead of.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Born with.
Right. I agree with that but then again, it's like, you know, mind you, this was like about over 10 years ago when this happened. And I feel like if Tyra could have rearranged what she said or how she would have said it, then yeah, she'll probably would. But then again, I feel like at that particular time, and especially that time and how the industry was, I will agree with the fact of what she stated. I agree with that statement, and go with that. We've had, especially on Top Model, we've seen a girl who was bald, we had a woman who was in her 40s trying to do it. We've had women with some formalities, big girls and things like that. So we've had variations of women out going through that place, and of course Winnie went through there as well because of her Vertilago, and was able to shine out there and expose themselves to a point where it's like, hey, I have this, but I can still do an ad. I can still walk the runway. I can still be a headline for your campaign. So if that's the main thing that I think people are missing on what those two instances, especially with those two particular instances, was missing. The fact is like, look, if you can outshine the formality that you're going through, then okay, fine. Prove that. If you didn't want to get your teeth fixed, then prove the fact that you're what you're doing and what you're presenting to me can outshine this teeth that I'll be fully focusing on.
But here's my thing. So a lot of these girls go into America's Next Top Model to get a modeling contract.
Right.
But they may go in there without a good portfolio, but they go in there wanting hope that Tyra can help them get to that level.
Right.
So again, instead of making fun of that girl for having something that, again, she's naturally born with, and highlighting on it and maybe changing other things around her that can accentuate the fact that her gap is beautiful, they made fun of her. I still do not agree with how it was taken out of how she did it. I don't agree with that. I just don't. Because I've seen Tyra cut women's hair. I've seen her dye women's hair. I've seen her changed up their look completely.
Right.
And I don't think that her situation was any different. I don't. And then the fact that not only did she mock the girl, but one of her judges did it too. And the one that is looking like who shot Jay, who couldn't say nothing, Miss J. I said it. Yes, I did. He didn't say nothing about anybody. Just saying.
Just saying. But I like I said, I at that particular time, I think I felt like it again, you got to think about how the industry wants a particular look, and especially I think at the time,
bring those highlights out like that.
I understand that, but then again, you got to understand, this is not King Magazine. You're going to be on the cover. You're going to be you're trying to get on Vogue. You're trying to get on Glamour. You're trying to get on those big premiere magazines. You're trying to get those big premiere contracts. You're trying to get on those big premiere, New York Fashion Week shows and all that stuff. I understand that, but the thing is like I said, I think for that particular time, I think it's like that's what the industry wants. They want this. There's this look, and I think a lot of people now is like, again, 10, 15 years later, you're complaining about it. Fact is like, oh look, Tyra wanted this. It's like, dude, check the copyright date on that show first, and then come back to me, because
they don't care though. That's what it is.
I understand that they don't care, because again, these are people who are they've been hiding behind a computer, way before the pandemic, and complain about God knows whatever they find to dig up. And again, this is something where, like you and I and everybody on Fashion Victuals who's watching or listening are talking about, because of the fact is like, look, we know this industry is fucked up. Let's fully be honest. Yeah. It deals with a lot of issues from, most recently, we're now fully accepting people of, plus size models. We're now slowly getting to people with their religion. Think about this. Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, they allowed a woman to wear her hijab for the first time. You know, we rarely see that. It's like, oh my God, why is she wearing this? Again, they're fully accepting. Slowly, huh?
It's a hijab or a hijab?
Hijab. Thank you for correcting it. I didn't want to offend anybody. I just want to make sure. But the thing is like they're slowly accepting people from various cultures, various physical backgrounds, and things like that to say, hey, everybody's beautiful. I mean, think about how long it took for a Black person to get on a cover. Think about that. Think about the, and let alone mind you, it's like you probably go to the Far East or anywhere in Europe, white women everywhere. But thinking of Far East is like finally seeing someone of their own being on the cover for the first time on Vogue, or Glamour, or whatever. It took a long. Mind you, they'll have their own publications, one thing, but on a big known magazine. And if it's like, oh, we have finally got one of our own, that was a big deal. And especially for us when we saw, Beverly Johnson on a top tier magazine, and these are those things, and Tyra as well being on Sports Illustrated. Mind you, had to take 2 years to do it. One, you had to be with a white girl, and then now it's like, oh, let's have her all by herself. So, and the one by herself was iconic. I mean, because no one would expect her look like that. So my thing is, it's like, look, it takes some time, but I don't know why everyone keeps digging some old shit to think it's like it's new, and it's not new.
Black Twitter.
Yes, that's all it is.
Black Twitter digging up old stuff.
So, but speaking of models,
criticizing people that look like me that were not Black enough. Just saying.
Well, speaking of models, next week we're gonna have a model on. Her name is Akira A, and she's firing up. She's got a very interesting story, and surprising enough, she's also one of our essential workers. So he's been helping out, and we're going to be talking with her on our model calling issue next week.
Awesome. And anybody who has not tuned in, go check out my other show, the Pillow Talk Lounge, that I do with 3 lovely ladies who are just phenomenal to me. Last week we did a segment called Hierarchy, and it was, I don't know if you've seen it, Brian, but
oh God.
So what we have a segment tomorrow where we're going to be doing a Q&A, and we're going to discuss the part 1 of our series from Battle of the Sexes, which was last week, where we discussed hierarchy. And we also introduced somebody who has also been on my show, Chester Turner, where he's doing his movement on Make Men Masculine. Again, we did discuss that in part 1, and he will be on the show, the Pillow Talk Lounge, tomorrow evening. So if you have not checked it out, please go check it out. It's every Thursday at 7 p.m. And if you want to go back and watch part 1, it is up on YouTube right now. Also, make sure you subscribe to the one who originally said it.
Yes. So subscribe to both. Yeah, subscribe to Pillow Talk Lounge, subscribe to Fast and Victuals, and also,
I'm starting a cooking segment too. And it's not because I'm in quarantine. Let's be clear. Brian and I both know I've been burning for a long time now. You can go and check the tapes under Fashion Victuals on YouTube. Okay. Now, the cooking segment is called Spirits and Victuals. The first segment will be up tomorrow evening. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you have fun with it, because I do too. Again, if you want to check us out again and watch this show again from the beginning and other shows that we've been doing, go to Fashion Victuals Television on YouTube. Go check out the Pillow Talk Lounge on YouTube, and go check out Victuals and Spirits on YouTube. And tune in next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Bye.